Big heroes come in small sizes. But does this movie live up to its character's hype and potential? Let's find out. Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie is directed by Peyton Reed, and this is the 20th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Can you believe that? MCU, 10 years, and now 20th movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And today I'm joined by Jason Wiradharma and Justin Wiradharma for this non-spoiler review. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the sequel to Ant-Man. And in this movie, we finally see the Wasp in action, which is the much-deserved partner for Ant-Man. I'll go right ahead and say first that the first thing that I came out with this movie, the feeling that I have is the Wasp is really awesome and Ant-Man is just very goofy, trying to live up with the Wasp. What do you think about this, Jason?
Well, I agree completely. I think the Wasp really is quite interesting in this movie. Ant-Man had the star, obviously, last movie, but now Wasp gets to shine. Ant-Man, he's your everyday guy, easy to relate to, and happens to just have a suit that gives him this amazing ability, which helps people.
I think the Wasp stole the show, actually. Ant-Man was really reduced, and most of the action revolved around the Wasp, in fact. Whereas, as Jason said, Ant-Man was more so the everyday guy that most of the viewers could relate to, whereas the Wasp was more the superhero character in the movie, I found.
Coming into this movie, I wasn't sure if Ant-Man's gonna have like more of a presence as the main character, but I feel like they equally split the role of both characters equally. They really show the potential of the Wasp as an individual hero, that even though they're partners, but I feel like the Wasp is just as good, if not better, than Ant-Man in terms of like being on her own.
She's definitely like a strong, independent woman who can hold her own, doesn't have to rely on Ant-Man as the... She'd really be Wasp and the Ant-Man, the movie.
Wasp and the Ant-Man.
No, but yeah. She, in like the fight scene, she's quite strong, she's dominant. You see her shrinking and growing and really using the ability she has to its full potential. Whereas Ant-Man seems very sloppy.
Yeah, the cooperation was really strong. Well, the Wasp offered more of the fighting ability, whereas Ant-Man offered more of that comedic element to the fight, which made it more interesting and engaging for the audience, I found. So, it was really interesting.
Yeah, and talking about action scenes, aside from just the fighting, because we both said, all three of us have said that the fighting are really unique, the shrinking and everything. The villain is unique in terms of her abilities and what she can do, which that reflects, not really reflects, like mirrors somewhat the ability of the heroes. They are really, really creative. We've seen like car chase before and stuff like that, but this movie have a car chase and it's really, really unique in what they do with the car chase in particular. Talking about the movie as a whole, I really like the story. It might be a bit convoluted. There are, I would say, several storylines going on together. They did tie it well, somewhat.
It's still got that basic superhero story. There's a superhero coming from humble beginnings who has a love interest, and then obviously there's a big scene. But I feel like with Ant-Man, it's different in the way that the different storylines impact the main storyline quite significantly. Like from the beginning, you think, oh, okay, they're just gonna leave that and they're gonna forget about it. But then it comes back like full circle. So I really think like the relationship, for example, that he has with Cassie at the beginning.
Ant-Man's daughter.
Yeah, Ant-Man's daughter. Oh, like that's just to show that he's a caring dad. But at the end, you see like, oh wow, that's how deep the relationship goes. So I think that's quite important.
Yeah, I thought they all matched really well. They were all really likable characters, even the villains. They tied up really nicely at the end, which made the audience feel more engaged with the characters, as the villains were they were more so anti-heroes, in fact, because even though they were against the protagonist originally, they had good motives and they wanted good for themselves, and in order to do that, they need to prevent Ant-Man and the Wasp from achieving their goals. But I thought all the storylines meshed really nicely together, and it offered a good finish to the film, in my opinion.
I like the more simple and more streamlined storyline of the first movie. The first movie just basically heist. This one, it's more than that. They're trying to do a certain mission. But I feel like this movie, they set to do one goal, and that is to introduce the Wasp and to show her capabilities. If that is their goal, they really did that really well. One character that is a standout from the first movie is Luis, and we certainly see that coming back. In the first movie, he do like this backstory kind of thing, and we definitely see that in this one.
Luis is a really funny character, actually. Originally, you'd think he's more of a useless character to the storyline, just adding that to reduce the seriousness of the film surrounding the other villains. But in fact, in the end, he actually becomes quite a vital character, which is quite interesting to incorporate all the characters into one, which, in my opinion, makes the storyline much more improved and more interesting.
About characters, we did mention the villains a bit. I'm not gonna talk about the motives of the villain, but the villain's powers in general, especially the visual effects in this one. If you all have seen Doctor Strange, you saw that whatever the dark dimension kind of weird cuckoo effects that you might think that you're high. But this one, the quantum realm itself, special effects is really unique and creative. The ability of the villain, the visual effects look really stunning, and I feel like it took a lot of work to do that.
I think it's like very outside the box. It's not your typical evil bad guy versus good guy fight where they're punching and throwing fights. It's actually a lot of choreography, a lot of coordinated movement involved to make the abilities see their full potential, such as with the evil villain. She's able to phase, like, I'm not sure how to describe it, but like she's transparent, like you go for a punch and you'll just straight through. So you'll see that from like the very first fight, but they use that very well so you don't get tired of some fisting like fight, 50 cuffs. Once again, that really catch my eye, especially the first thing we see her abilities are like, damn, that's really cool special effects.
Not only the phasing with the main villain's abilities, I also thought the visual effects in the quantum realm were really creative. That they're similar to Doctor Strange in that the ideas thought to come up with that dimension and how it was visualized must have been really difficult. And to put that into place and execute it so well, I think that deserves great credit for the film producers and the visual effects.
Sticking with the technical parts, the score, the music is really, it's similar like the first one. There's one scene in particular which I feel like they use the music really well, and it fits both the action and the comedy in that scene, and I love it. And also the pacing, for me, this pacing is really, really well done. I don't know about you guys, but coming out to that movie, I feel like, wow, that goes really fast. And that means if it's a 2-hour movie, so if it feels like that, most of the time it's good. What do you guys think of the music and the pacing, and anything else you want to add before you conclude our score?
Yeah, no, I think the pacing was very well done. Like, you didn't get bored at any stages, so you didn't want the movie to end. You wanted to just keep going and going. So when it did end, you were like, oh, okay, that's disappointing. Like, I really was like, I want more. Even though it was really good, I was really happy with the movie. At the very end, I was like, oh wow, this is a really great movie. Like, 2 hours well spent. I would recommend watching. Especially the scene that Albert was talking about. The music fits perfectly. Like, it's very comedy, and I would recommend it.
How about you, Justin? Any final thoughts to add up?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a very good film. It went a lot quicker than you would expect when you're in the film. They incorporated the music really well with the comedic elements of Ant-Man and the more serious elements surrounding the villain stories, which all intertwine very nicely. And I also think that the ending was really interesting in that it incorporated all the storylines into one and made all the characters equally important into the resolution of the film.
Jason, let's hear your score and final thoughts if you have any.
My final score is an 8.3, just because I love Marvel in general. I love the superhero villain scenarios. Here, Ant-Man and Wasp, they offer unique fighting styles, great storyline, and not just fighting, but there's also background with Cassie and just the family involved. So I give it 8.3.
How about you, Justin?
Yeah, I think similar. I give it an 8.5. It was a really good film. I would recommend. It was quite interesting. All the multiple storylines are really good. It's quite a light film. It's not too intense, so you can just relax, bring the whole family. It's just really, really fun and interesting film in my opinion.
For me, Just like Justin said, it's very light, which is so great after coming out from the dreadful Infinity War. If you have not seen it, I don't know where you're living, you probably should have seen it by now. But yeah, if you know me, Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man, I have a soft spot in my heart for that movie. I really love that movie. But this movie is just super creative. The details and everything, even though it doesn't, all the shrinking does not obey the laws of physics at all. But I enjoy the creativity. Technically is amazing, and the dynamics between the character really pays off. So with that, I'll give this movie an 8.3. What do you guys think of Ant-Man and the Wasp? Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? Tell me in the comment section below. If you have seen it, tell me which one is your favorite parts. Actually, don't do that. That will be spoiled. Tell me what your general thoughts of Ant-Man and the Wasp are. And yeah, check out the spoiler review that's gonna come out for Ant-Man and the Wasp. We're gonna go into detail and all the Easter egg references and everything. So leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see the channel to grow. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more. And until next time, guys, we out.
Peace.